Was good to talk about today is how we use Reiki energy on our healing path. And right now, it's always about, for us, it's always about your daily life. Like, how is it beneficial for and useful for you? And so, of course, right now we have holidays coming up and everything that means for everyone. Each of you has your own ways that the holidays you are engaged with them, whether you don't engage with them at all, or you maybe don't want to, don't need to, or you wish you would and don't have people to do that with, or life has changed this year for a variety of reasons, or all the way to you have some family or big gatherings, things like that. Money is an issue always at the holidays. It's something to consider. There are potentially relationship issues around it. And also, there can be spiritual for you personally, for the gathering that you're with. So, for instance, in our family gathering, this year it's kind of, when I say small, it's 18 people. And, other years it's bigger than that. And people come from every belief system. And we have Thanksgiving for those of you in other countries. We have Thanksgiving on Thursday. And some of the traditions that we know more about now and what they really are and where they came from. And so contemplating those things. So wherever you are with your holidays and the upcoming ones, there's so many specifics. We could go into them all. But how do you use Reiki to manage them, to heal from them perhaps, and to also be empowered in them, to be you in them in whatever way that looks for you? So I had two thoughts about today. One was managing holiday stress. And then one is to start taking the time now to think about 2024. We did the podcast with Molly McCord that, shares about the big changes coming in 2024. So what I was thinking I'd really like to do today is to do one of the things that you can do to manage your holidays is to be considering where you are today, where you were behind you, and what's ahead of you. And so what I'd like to do is do the journey to mouse vision and eagle vision. So that journey is about seeing your path. And that's what our webinar is about, understanding your healing path, your Reiki path, seeing your path from behind you, where you are now, in front of you, from your perspective. And then in the Reiki journey, we use the energy to lift out and circle above ourselves from the height of an eagle. It's called eagle vision. And looking at your path from the heights, where you can see behind you, right now, in the middle, and ahead of you. And when I say see, that's one of the other things we talk about with intuition, is see in this definition in a Reiki journey can mean the path is there and it's in your mind's eye, but you're not visually seeing a path. Or you may be thinking, there's my path behind me. There it is now. There it is in front of you. And it all comes in thoughts. Those are called the clair senses. So how you perceive the experience of seeing your path in a journey depends on your intuition style. So some of you may see it, some of you may hear your path, or, sometimes it's in that your mind's eye, like, okay, it's in my mind's eye. I know the path is there. Sometimes you're intending it. Like sometimes you're thinking, okay, I want to do this. I'm not thinking it, seeing it, knowing it. I'm going to think it. I'm going to intend it. So I'm going to look at my path behind me. I'm going to look at it right now, and I'm going to look at it ahead of me. So all of those are valid intuition styles, logical intuition. Many of you have logical intuition. And so you're going to logic your way through a journey, and it's going to come through you in a more analytical way. So for those of you with, strong, really good left brains, where you can utilize that left brain knowledge and ability for your intuition, as well as the right brain. So when I say the word see, it's inclusive of all of those styles. So anyway, when you are in that eagle vision, you're going to see the whole path from up above. I've even taken it out to infinite vision. So now I'm in the vision from my soul's perspective and looking at it, from that height. Today we're going to do eagle vision. And then you come back down and you observe your path as you're coming back down. And then you look at it from where you just saw, here, right now, what's in front of you, what's behind you, what's on each side, above you, below you, all the way around you. Then we move into what's called mouse vision. And so we go down to the size of a mouse, and we look at our path behind us now and in front of us from a mouse vision. So it takes you from where you are now to way above, so you can see it at a distance. And then also what's immediate. The mouse vision is what's immediate, what's right in front of you, what's right behind you. In this, we are also going to take some time in this journey to let go of the things you need to let go of, but also to really use Reiki to reveal those gifts within you from your past, what's ahead of you, and what's right now from the bigger perspective all the way to the immediate. So taking that back to holidays, are immediate from the mouse vision for not for everybody. So if it's not that for you, then translate everything I'm saying to what is immediate for you right now, because I want to include everybody. It's to work with where you're at right now. So what's immediate? And if we set an intention for this of understanding your healing path and how you utilize Reiki for that, then you can use that. If you have a different intention for the journey, you can also set a completely different intention than that. So just looking at where you're at right now. And so even when we start the journey, rather than you may be having thoughts of what that looks like for you right now, but when we start the journey, we're going to take some time for you to move into your heart so that you can like really listen for what do you want to know about your path? What do you want to be observing about your path from that eagle vision to the mouse vision and to your vision? Okay, so anyway, before we go there, Robyn, you want to add to all of that?
Yeah. Well, I would say too, I like that you're going into Eagle Vision this week, Colleen, because for those of us that are here and those of us that are celebrating this, those of us that might have Thanksgiving things to do on our list, mouse vision is a very easy thing to get kind of that tunnel vision within, because there's a lot of details to put in place. But that these are the times where it is, I like what you just said, and that's what I was going to add about sometimes you don't know what that looks like. And like, how do I even, I'm not in eagle vision right now. I'm in mouse vision. I have a lot of things to complete. I have a lot of things to do. For some of us, the holidays, like you said, are challenging, or there's a lot of family dynamics to navigate. And that these are the times that Reiki can really help. These are the times where you can go into this without knowing what your answers are, without, sometimes it's like, I don't know what my answers are. I don't know what I'm looking for in this journey. I don't know those things, but this is where it comes in, and you don't have to. It helps you to answer those questions. And this is where Reiki comes in and helps you in your everyday life, because it can help us, as we know, in our spiritual studies and our spiritual practices. But how does it extrapolate into our everyday life? How do we stay stable, be kind in our families? How do we navigate those with Reiki, with compassion, with boundaries? And then on the opposite end of the spectrum, maybe Thanksgiving is a time of joy, and there is, holidays in general, and there is just beautiful family dynamics, and everything is about love and gratitude, and also using Reiki in those times of really being in presence with that. Because even if that's you probably still have a lot of detail to complete. There can be stress around that. There can be all the other things around that. So how do you go into the presence of those kinds of energies as well? So this is when it is applicable to your daily life. This is when you can use it to help you to navigate all of it. This is when you can use it to stay grounded. I love that we're going into Eagle Vision today, because we can see the bigger picture of all of it. This is when it is those times that are really, really helpful for real life. So I'm excited. Colleen and I always talk about what we're doing before. We didn't talk about it in the last couple of days because we've been really busy getting caught up, all of those things. Anyway, so I'm actually really excited that this is what kind of Reiki navigated for you to do today, Colleen, because I think it's so helpful.
Yeah, me too.
And so revealing, it is so revealing, and going into our gifts and talents, and into that empowerment and letting go of what we need to let go of.
Mm-hmm. Joe, I really like what you wrote. Often we are forced into dealing with situations from the mouse perspective, but afterwards, with reflection, you can regard it all with eagle vision and appreciate it from that vantage point. It's really nicely said. Yeah, thank you. So anyway, I think let's go ahead. I think the journey might be a little bit of a long one. So we'll go ahead and go into it. And so, like I say, and Robyn, what you were talking about too, that not knowing what the answers are. One of the big things we've been talking about is not knowing what the questions are. And to even know what answers we're looking for. So that's something that we've been adding, and for those of you, I got back from Egypt, and that was the big message from Sekhmet back here, about, not knowing the questions to ask, and what are they? What questions do I even have, and observing those? And then also, what answers am I looking for? And using Reiki for that. And then that's what Molly talked about, the astrologer, is that next year we are actually going to be going into, because of the astrological influences, particularly with Pluto and Aquarius, we are going to go into more intuitive thought and intuitive engagement with our life, like really feeling our way. What's that gut feeling? And I think for a lot of us, the understanding of, in my age group at 66, born in the 50s, that really honoring your intuition and your gut was, for many people, suppressed. I would say mine wasn't specifically suppressed, but it certainly wasn't taught. It certainly wasn't like a topic like it is now, when we talk about it, but that's going to be a big collective shift. Like, for Pluto goes into Aquarius, and with the exception of a couple months in September, October, it stays there till 2044. And that's going to be one of the aspects of it, is engaging with your own inner truth and your own intuitive, instinctive knowing, and making decisions based on your instinctive, intuitive knowing. So it fascinates me that that's where we're going, because that's so specifically what I feel Reiki does, is it takes us, the energy of it takes us deeper into self, so we can discover our own inner truth, be connected to those gut feelings that also then are connected to your heart brain, your brain, so that your logic, your divine guidance, your own divine self, your own higher consciousness, with your human mind, your heart mind, your gut mind, instincts, intuition, inner awareness, all of those things are connected. You're connected to them, and you can hear yourself. So that's the influences that are coming up, that is a collective change in consciousness, which we're so excited about. It's like, yay. And I love that, you think of the children being born now, that they're going to be born into that awareness. And, again, so much of it in my generation, we were, and it's not to blame or make that bad or anything. Who knows? It was the way the world worked at that time. And so that's fine. But boy, just think of being able to really, like, go within and listen to yourself for your daily decision making, navigating, understanding your own path, what it is. And even when you can't, you can only see one step ahead of you. Sometimes you can only see your next step. Other times you can see your whole pathway out ahead and everywhere in between. So utilizing Reiki to stay in that intuitive space, that instinctive space, listening to yourself, your own inner truth, your own inner authority, another big one. We could do a whole month on that.
On what?
Inner authority.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. What does it mean? So,
well, they are known as Generation Alpha. We're starting over.
The children.
Yeah.
Are they ever?
Yeah. I just want to announce, because I want to also have time for the journey, Colleen. I just want to
Okay.
classes coming up. First
I was
weekend in
thinking, I thought the
December
dates were
is
different.
December 2nd and 3rd for
Okay.
Reiki 1 and 2. December 4th and 5th for Animal Reiki 1 and 2, and December 8th, 9th, and 10th for Reiki Master. And then also Reiki classes, things like that. Always make great Christmas gifts. So, or holiday gifts. I'm sorry, holiday gifts. More holidays than just Christmas.
And then Tuesday's the webinar
Yeah.
at noon Pacific.